The first bullet she fired that night did not hit an enemy target. It shattered the illusion she had lived under for 8 years. Through the cold scope of her rifle, perched high above a desert compound lit by floodlights and secrets, she saw not a terrorist commander but a bound civilian kneeling in the sand, surrounded by men wearing the same flag she had sworn to protect. Her finger trembled, her breath froze in her lungs, and in that suspended heartbeat, she realized the war she thought she understood had been hiding a deeper battlefield, one buried inside her own command. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the courage it takes to stand up for what is right even when it costs everything, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Bright Heart. Stories like this matter because they remind us that conscience is stronger than fear. Her name was Captain Elena Reyes, 32 years old, lean and sharp-eyed, with dark hair always braided tight against her skull and a thin scar cutting across her left eyebrow from a mission gone wrong years earlier. Raised in a small border town in Arizona, she had grown up believing the military was the purest expression of service. Her father had been a mechanic who fixed veterans' trucks for free. Her mother volunteered at a shelter for displaced families. From them, Elena inherited a fierce sense of loyalty and a quiet tenderness she hid beneath discipline. She became one of the most precise long-range shooters in her unit, a ghost on rooftops and ridgelines. Her superiors called her Oracle because she seemed to predict enemy movement before it happened. Her fellow soldiers respected her because she never hesitated when lives were on the line. She carried their trust like sacred weight. But that night in the desert, stationed in a classified operation somewhere beyond the reach of maps and media, something shifted. The operation had been briefed as a high-value extraction involving Ho. In the days that followed, the incident was scrubbed from official logs. The detainees were transferred, their identities classified. When Elena requested clarification, she was subtly reassigned to administrative duty pending psychological evaluation. It was presented as concern, but it felt like containment. Alone in her quarters, she replayed the footage she had secretly recorded from her scope's microcamera, a habit she had developed for self-review. Frame by frame, she watched the kneeling man's eyes, wide not with rage but with terror. She noticed a detail she had missed before, a bracelet on his wrist, the kind distributed by international aid organizations to track displaced civilians. He was not a commander. He was a refugee. Her world cracked. For years, she had believed every mission, every shot, was a necessary act to prevent greater harm. Now she faced the possibility that her precision had been used to protect something darker. An operation that blurred the line between counterterrorism and quiet elimination of inconvenient witnesses. The deeper she dug, the more resistance she encountered. Files were restricted. Emails went unanswered. A colonel she trusted avoided her gaze in the hallway. Whispers began circulating that she was unstable, that too many deployments had affected her judgment. The institution she loved was closing ranks. Yet Elena was not reckless. She understood chain of command, understood the cost of accusations without proof. So she gathered evidence carefully. She accessed archived satellite data during late-night shifts. She cross-referenced mission codes with contractor movements. She noticed patterns. Detainees labeled as insurgents were often taken from regions where lucrative reconstruction contracts were pending. Villages that resisted land acquisitions were suddenly flagged as hostile zones. It was not a war against terror she was seeing. It was a war against inconvenience. The realization hollowed her. She had shared ration.